Christina Universe Citizen presents New Era Eligion Part 1, August 10, 2022. Consciously evolving beyond their reenacting impositions. Comparatively, side by side, I wonder how the electron shells of the compounding atoms can be identified in the icosahedron's uniradius aggregates, non-nuclear, exclusively volumetric single-layer closest packed geometrical topological conceptuality relates to one-half quanta, an electron, proton, anti-neutrino three-vector team positive event shown in Synergetics Figure 935.23. The single layer of closest packed equiradius spheres are 12 around 1, whereat the nuclear sphere is no longer involved at the icosahedral stage transformation from the vector equilibrium system's nucleated assembly. The nuclear sphere at the center is prime nucleation until the third closest packed equiradius 92 spheres agglomerate, where 8 new nuclei are potential. The knowledge of this prime systemic intertransformation environment eventually verifies the universe explorer's concerns with species survival. Also, increase awareness of other questions regarding the human condition. The isotropic vector matrix derives from the same number of equiradius closest packed spheres, which provide an omnirational accounting system with the generalized conceptioning that coincides with metaphysical intellect's potentially evolving awareness of integrating these vector models to accommodate the very shape and structuring of humanity's anticipatory realities. Such realities could turn out to be as important to the human species, humans of a mind, as environments were to the thousands of years evolution, as the various accredited ancestors of early Homo sapiens and the modern mankind we are today. If environment is critical to life-sustaining evolution, at some point the mind's metaphysical generalized conception fields of thought must be critical as definitive choices are made in this entire regard. If humans of a mind, our intelligent human species, can conceptualize the geometric model that demonstrate the ability of the symmetrically and asymmetrically terminal high-frequency energy vectors that accommodate the structuring of any shape, as we can read in Synergetics 420.02 and Synergetics 923.00, then this information would be critical to the governing systems that the people on planet U conceptually formulate. Presently, we are experiencing the ramifying culminations of the imagination's computer technologies as the human condition is reworked into scenarios of fantastic self-other destruction, as if destroying the thought-language environments by irrationally induced formulations from which humans also glean recognizable patterns is par for the course when there was no other rationally educed option. As a potential integration and reintegration of timeless zero-phase unity, you could assume the traditions of self-other destruction were all we had to consider. But now, as integrals of the universal communications process, humans have become aware of a conceptual relevance pertaining to anticipatory design science's omnirationally constructed realities. It is where the structuring of any shape is accommodated by the generalized conceptioning field of thought, thereby signifying a break from utter helplessness that is otherwise imposed on thinking self-awareness of environment and the universe from which The energy in principle was not known to the earlier people, but is essential when doing so. It becomes relevant to constructing omnirational realities. Wondering, when the electron is borrowed or lent correlatively to the positive 3-vector electron, proton, antineutrino half-energy quanta, and the negative events positron, neutrino, interrelating action-reaction resulting configurations, is relevant to the intricacies of the question-asking mind relative to continuing the interassociation beyond the minimum thinkable set's obvious need for clarifications. When does the disassociation of the positive event's electron happen so that the electron can be lent and or borrowed for all potential energetic synergetic transaction? This is still of interest and may lead to other insights and outlooks, as we will see soon enough in episode 97. As the researching mind cannot accept what is going on in the world's predominantly physical objectives that are governed by the irresolute PRJWBCS politics, religion, justice, war, belief complex schemes. Since humans can observe the reenacting articulations, whether the news events are controlled to omit or to admit the variously detailed episodes, the truth of the matter is processed as disseminated information, wherefrom generalized content, if that is omnirationally the case, induces the metaphysical generalized conceptioning field of thought to consciously evolve beyond the reenacting impositions that have no intention to intellectually evolve beyond the false premises from which those bases of reality emanated. If the positive tripartite and synergetics 935.23 illustrates 1/2 quanta action vector as the proton and the reaction vector as the electron, and the resultant vector is likewise introduced to be understood as the antineutrino, do these interrelating atomic characteristics always and only coexist in close related environmental proximity? I wonder, since and perhaps these conceptualities and the always and only coexisting complementarities that physics has found, such as proton and neutron, association and dissociation, anti-entropy and entropy, angle and edge, attraction and precession, annihilation and conservation, abstract and sensorial, acceleration and deceleration, acceleration and eternal slowdown, activity and inactivity, active and potential, analysis and synthesis, attraction and repulsion, automatics and intellections, A quantum module and B quantum module, is altogether relevant to conceptualities of universe's eternal integrity and experience, the elementary and complex functions about which most of us know so little. We know so little, as many of us continue to observe whatever the computer technology dishes out for its exploitation purposes to profit, thus regardless what impact the images may have on the emulative inclinations of the human being's personalities. Yet, the human imagination's ability to formulate conceptually, cosmic, logically, to coordinate thought action, activating mind's metaphysical generalized conceptioning as a self-educating design science proclivity is potential. With such knowledge, can we anticipate Planet U omnicomprehensively, omnirationally deduce conducive realities with a true democracy in mind? Hypothetically, theoretically, we would have to rely on these quantum modules of energy as relevant to a differently coordinated reality from what is now underway. This would be because the conceptualities are independent of size, time-space sizing, as macrocosmic to microcosmic thought. And language starts with awareness of universe's timeless zerophase unity at the centers of exact balance. Technically and imaginably, we would be acknowledging metaphysical intellect as a function of omnirational universe, coincidental to being apprised that modification of angle and frequency is the only two possible covariables that are operatives in all universe design and is wholly, WHOLLY, relevant to the thought language universal communications systems. As well, we would be informing us of the 6 positive and 6 negative 3-vector team shown in Figure 935.26 and also Figure 511.10, where 2 triangular energy events make obvious the tetrahedron. This tetrahedron model apparently is an elementary introduction to more complex conceptualities, as is Figure 108.01, triangle and tetrahedron synergy. What otherwise is the human being's brain-mind considering integrally, inclusively of the lag rates between apprehension and comprehension? Is it not metaphysical intellect's generalized conceptioning field of thought that consciously coordinates thought and language? Are we not aware of the word ought in the word thought? Are we designed in principle to perpetuate ignorance of these geometries and topologies that correlate to the energetic, synergetic, universal communications information processing? After all, it is one's own brain and mind that are manageably integral to awareness of this computer's cerebral circuitry designs, conceptual environment that cosmic logically supersedes any obsolete reality projections, whether or not they prove to be incorrect at the outset. In any case, omnirationally designed, anticipatory designed science realities knowledgeably, competently evolve as awareness of the most economical ways systems can behave, which is relative to increasing awareness of unity and self in universe. Logically, such objectives include anticipatory true democracy, whose variously arranged interrelating departments could be designed referentially to an absolute accommodation network of energy articulation, AAA-NOEA, discovered by Bucky Fuller in the 20th century. Our humanity, humans of the eternal omniscient mind, EOM, has this total reality of universal principles in common. Awareness of it is economically essential regarding the universal communication systems. Metaphysical intellect as a function of universe, in other words, is also a functioning mentality of relative evolutionary significance concerning omnirational local problem-solving individual economic initiatives. To be continued in Part 2, followed by Part 3. Thank you.